Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another market update for the Halifax real estate market. This time we're in March and I've got good news. Although the percentage of over asking price still remains quite high across the board, in the month of March, we saw a massive increase in inventory and a decrease in showing. So what this means is if you are buying right now, obviously some of that demand is starting to take over the bulk of, some of that supply, the increase in supply is starting to take over and mitigate the demand. Now, sorry, I haven't posted a while on my channel for my 100 followers or whatever it is. But again, I've been figuring out a way to get somebody to cut a lot of my videos for me. And hopefully that's going to be sorted out this week. And I'll be able to start posting more and more content here in the coming month of April. I've got a couple new ideas for some different content that I'm going to be putting out, and I hope you enjoy it. It's going to be lots to do with Halifax, best parts of living here, little kind of business spotlights, things like that, just really kind of local content for you so that you get to know a bit more about this city, what it has to offer, as well as, what it's like to live here. So anyways, without further ado, let's dive into this. Again, this is all taken from today, April 5th, the data. And it's going to be very similar to the last month's slideshow, just with new data points. So again, as always, here's the Bedford area that I pull from. And again, for those who are just tuning in for your first time, what I'm going to do is at the bottom along here, we're going to cut the individual neighborhood so that you can skip towards a neighborhood that you're either thinking about selling in or thinking about purchasing in, just so you get a little bit more of an idea of what's going on data wise in that neighborhood. Okay. So as I said, here we go. We'll start off with Bedford. Total sales and days on market. I'll run through these again like I do on every video. The Bedford, I'll go a little bit more in depth, and then as we go into the other neighborhoods, we'll shorten it up. So total sales and days on market. These are the days on market throughout this whole slide. It's going to be either 5 or 6. Basically, the market is still very hot. Realtors keep something on the market for a short amount of time, hold offers, and then everybody kind of submits, and whoever wins. But total sales, 46. Now that's a big number we haven't seen in a while. Showings per listing. So this kind of references how many people are going through each house, right? This shrank, and it shrunk across many different neighborhoods, which is a great sign if you're a buyer. Obviously, it's still a seller's market. If you are thinking about selling, it's still definitely beneficial to sell right now. You're going to get some nice price points. New listings, 61. There's a nice number. Sale price to list price percentage, 123.6%. So basically 23.6% over asking on average. Single family monthly comparison. Last month, 752,000, and this month was the month of March was $764,888. Condo monthly comparison, not 493,000 and 401,000 in the month of March. Moving on to Clayton Park. Total sales and days on market, 32 and 5 respectively. And again, another nice kind of big-ish number, bigger than what we're used to. Showings per listing and new listing, 15.8% and 35 respectively. Those are both, again, a decrease on the showing side and an increase on the new listing side. So sale price to list price percentage, we've got 122.6%. Single family monthly comparison, $719,500 versus $740,000 in the month of March. Condo monthly comparison, $440,750 and $380,750. So again, it's not like the prices went down that much. There's a pretty big variation of condos available in Clayton Park. So what likely happened was in the month of what would have been February, maybe some nicer condos were sold than in the month of March. Cole Harbour, take a quick snapshot there where I'm pulling the data from. Total sales and days on market, 32 and 5 respectively. Showings per listing and new listing, 20 and 41. There's another nice big number, right? So we're coming into spring now. We're starting to see this listing influx that a lot of realtors have been talking about for a while and kind of wondering, quite frankly, where it is. As we get further into spring, this is going to be the time to buy, right? There's more and more inventory coming on. Realtors kind of have their feet in terms of what to expect in the market and how to position their buyers in a good enough light to allow them to win the, sorry, I've just got somebody in the background blocking the light there. What to do in order to win, to give you the best chance. And, you know, so this is actually a pretty good time to buy over the next couple months, right? Sale price to list price percentage, 132.5%. Single family monthly comparison, 475,000 versus 478,000 in the month of March. Again, not enough condos to pull condo data. So Dartmouth, this is obviously a very large area, but I like to incorporate the whole area there. Total sales and days on market, 70 and 5. Showings per listing and new listings, 17.3 and 88. Sale price to list price percentage, 129.1%. So basically almost 30% over asking. These are the numbers that unfortunately stayed very similar to what they were at last month, or even rose a bit, right? So at the end of the day, we're still seeing these big over asking numbers, which it seems like the trends take a few months to have an effect, if you know what I mean. So now that we're starting to see less competition in terms of the buyer side, we may hopefully in the month of April see that over asking percentage start to come down a bit. Who knows, right? Only time will tell. Single family monthly comparison, 485,000 versus 545,000 in the month of March. Condo monthly comparison, 290,000 versus 536,250. So obviously that's from a different building. Downtown Halifax, all condos here. Don't pull any single family data. Total sales and days on market, 5 and 5. So that 5 for days on market, as you can imagine, if you haven't already figured it out, pretty standard. And I don't think that's going away for a while. Showing per listing and new listings, 12.8 and 6. So the condo market, as we see here, definitely took a bit of a hike in terms of competition, right? Uptick in the showings, bit of an uptick in the new listings, but the big change was the sale price to list price percentage, 127.8%. I think that this is going to continue to be a trend where as people become priced out of the housing market, they move to the condo market to put some equity into something. And what that will do is it'll drive more buyers into the condo market, which will contribute to the competition there and probably drive up prices, right? It happened in Toronto when their housing market went pretty nuts. And I think it is naturally going to progress and come out here. Condo monthly market comparison, $562,250 and $603,000. The Eastern Passage in Cow Bay. Beautiful area. Total sales and days on market, 21 and 5. Showing per listing and new listing, 12.4 and 27 respectively. Sale price to list price percentage, 127.4%. Single family monthly comparison, $388,000 versus $447,500. Enfield. Total sales and days on market, 16 and 6 respectively. Showings per listing and new listing, 11.2 and 26. Sale price to list price percentage, 111.8%. So Enfield, a couple months ago, it was pretty even, about 100% of list price to asking. And it's been ticking up, I think, in the last couple months here, right? Very similar to Windsor. Single family monthly comparison, $567,500 versus $460,250. So that's going to vary based on what houses were available, obviously. Fairmount, I know, not a lot of movement here, but it's a cool little neighborhood. Total sales and days on market, 3 and 6 respectively. Showings per listing and new listing, 12.2 and 3. Sale price to list price percentage, 114.8%. Single family monthly comparison, 971,000 versus 540,000. So Fairmount, there's kind of two parts of the neighborhood. There's kind of the newer rich side, wealthier side, I guess. And that is on the highway side of things, and actually closer to the golf course, and in kind of the bottom, you're going to find some of the older homes. Still beautiful. A lot of them have attached car garages, nice sizes. You're, you know, a stone's throw away from the peninsula. Really a beautiful neighborhood. But again, there's kind of the newer and the older. Fairview. Oops. Total sales and days on market 5 and 6 respectively. Not a whole lot of movement in Fairview, right? I think they had a ton of movement that kind of fall, last summer and the spring. And we'll have to see what happens in the coming months in Fairview. Showings per listing and new listing 18 and 9. Sale price to list price percentage still quite high, 136.4%, right? 36% over asking. Single family monthly comparison, 525,000 versus 503,000 in the month of March. Oh, sorry. Fall River. Total sales and days on market 14 and 4. Showing per listing and new listing 11.5 and 23. Sale price to list price percentage 119.8%. Single family monthly comparison $687,500 versus $730,000. Hammonds Plains. So the last couple neighborhoods here, this is obviously a massive swath of land, but really beautiful, right? You got tons of lakes in there, privacy, decent amount of land, golf course or 2 scattered throughout there. And you're still really about 25-30 minute drive to downtown. Total sales and days on market 10 and 5 respectively. Showings per listing and new listing 21.7 and 20. Sale price to list price percentage is 124%, right? And single family monthly comparison $831,600 versus $790,000. The North End, a couple listings coming up in this neck of the woods this upcoming month. Finally, some of that door knocking paying off, baby. Okay. Total sales and days on market 22 and 6 respectively. Showings per listing and new listing 21.1 and 26. So it's funny because you think in the city you'd have a lot more people searching for houses, right? And it would be reflected in the amount of showings. However, a lot of people are okay with kind of living around the outside of the city, right? Sale price to list price percentage 117.3%. Single family monthly comparison, 644,499 and 597,750. Condo monthly comparison, 529,000 and 525,000 respectively. Sackville, Beaverbank. Total sales and days on market, 58 and 4 respectively. Showings per listing and new listing, 22.2 and 90. New listings 90. Now that's something we don't see too often. So that's great. Sackville's been obviously blowing up price-wise over the last year. Like, it is insane. So we're seeing a big change in the demographics of that area, as well as the price points. But again, it's people that are moving from out of town or moving from even in town, and they realize that Sackville's a 20-minute drive downtown. And you go the other way, you're in wine country, right? So it's actually a pretty awesome place to be, right? What's Bedford is the traditional stopping place on the highway or whatever, but Sackville's, you know, it's right smack dab at the corner of basically where that highway forks and heads to the valley. So sale price to list price percentage 133.8%, which is still wild. Single family monthly comparison, $509,500 versus $506,000. South End, the luxury area of what I would consider to be the whole province. Total sales and days on market, 16 and 5. Showings per listing and new listing, 13.5 and 23. Sale price to list price percentage, 116.1%. Again, we're going to run into a little bit of a lower sale price to list price percentage when you get these higher price points, right? There's just not as much impact when you go $100,000 over on $1 million house. Single family monthly comparison, 1.37 versus 1.275. the month of March. Condo monthly comparison, not too many condos, some old, some new, but $365,000, $536,016. Spryfield, last couple here. Leave that up for a second. Again, Spryfield, change in area, right? Total sales and days on market, 40 and 6. That's a nice big number. Showing per listing and new listing, 19 and 52 respectively. Sale price to list price percentage, relatively low, 120.8%. Now, I think there's a few new builds scattered in there, a couple new townhouse style. So that might bring that number down a bit. But throughout the HRM, our standard right now is basically hovering right around 125% of list price, right? So when you're putting in bids, keep that in mind. Single family monthly comparisons, 527,000 versus 621,000 in the month of March. Condo monthly comparison is $545,750 and $453,450. Tantallon, Hubley. Again, this is a beautiful area if you've been out there. Lakes, ocean, grocery stores, everything you really need. I think there's a golf course out there as well. Total sales and days on market, 17 and 5. Showings per listing and new listing, 18.9 and 16. Sale price to list price percentage, 126.8%. Single family monthly comparison, 750,000 versus 725,000. A little bit of a dip there. Timberlea and Beechville. So, you know, the area out back of Bears Lake. You've got all your grocery stores. It's really kind of, I mean, Bears Lake is obviously becoming developed and there's the new hospital going in there, but another beautiful place to live if you're thinking about it. Total sales and days on market, 11 and 5. Showings per listing and new listing, 16 and 22. Sale price to list price percentage, 130.9%, right? Pretty standard. I know that's crazy, but 30% over asking seems to be coming up a lot lately. Single family monthly comparison is $608,882 and $620,000 respectively. The West End, so last two here. West End Halifax, phenomenal neighborhood. You know, I'm a peninsula guy myself, and yeah, love the West End. Total sales and days on market, 16 and 5. Not a ton of movement, right? There's not usually that much movement. Showings per listing and new listing, 18.6 and 18 respectively. Sale price to list price percentage, 124.3%. Again, usually a little bit higher price. Now here's a funky little number here. Single family monthly comparison, 612,000 and then $1 million. So there was a couple of outliers here. I'm not sure if you folks were following, but there was a few houses, which I'm actually surprised the sale price to list price percentage wasn't higher, but there was a few houses in the West End that went for over $350,000 over ask, or at 350. So that drove that price way up. Quite frankly, I'm shocked that the agent advise their client to bid so high on that, but maybe that's the way that the West End is going. I don't think we're quite at the $1 million mark for some of these houses, but hey, the market's nuts and the buyers will dictate what the prices are in these neighborhoods. I think if you are looking to put an offer in on some of these houses in these neighborhoods, that yes, they are seeing massive growth. However, it's important to have an agent. And if they're advising you to go that high over asking on a house, tell them to either back it up or give some sort of data points, you know. Now, I'm kind of going off script here a bit, obviously, because, you know, it's tough. Quite frankly, it's very tough as buyer's agents to price out what a house is going to go for. However, advising a client to go 300,000 or 350,000 over asking on a house that's a little ridiculous. So, you know, I think if you're looking to buy, make sure that, and you'll develop a relationship with your realtor as you go along, right? And you'll know what they're thinking. You'll have an understanding for the market, but make sure that, you know, if we're not as crazy as some of these other markets, right? And if you're coming from away, it's important to understand that. And it's important to have somebody who's knowledgeable about these neighborhoods. Because quite frankly, we're not at that point where you're going $350,000 over asking on a house. And if you are, there's going to be another house that you can get. That is, you know, if you want to spend 1.1 million bucks on a house, you can, there's lots to choose from, right? And you'll be very happy with it you get. Anyways, that's my little rant. Okay, last is Windsor. Again, I just always throw that in there. Total sales and days on market, 23 and 7. Showings per listing and new listing, 14.8 and 35, respectively. Sale price to list price percentage, Windsor's ticking up. Right after New Year's and Christmas, we had, it was pretty, you know, low key. You could go there and put 100% of list price and boom, you were getting a house, but now it's starting to check up. Single family monthly comparison, 365,000 and 339,000. Okay, folks, I hope you enjoyed that. Again, sorry I haven't been posting a lot on YouTube, but I'm going to be, it's all about me just basically, I quite frankly am not good at cutting videos and I don't have the time to do it. So it's been me just trying to find somebody to be able to do the work for me. And hopefully I've got a guy now to do that. So we'll see. And once we get this going, I intend to pump out a ton of content to keep you guys entertained and learn a bit more about what it's like to live in Halifax. Anyways, once again, I'm Tom Moore, your Halifax, local Halifax realtor. And have a great day.